Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery Salvage. And today I'm going to be rewiring a fairly unique table lamp. What makes this lamp fairly unique is this three-way cluster. I've never seen one like this before. It's got no maker's marks on it, but it is cast, says patent applied for, and that it's not really all that informative. Now in most lamps, this little piece here called the body would be where the splice for the trunk cord, which goes to all the individual sockets. But this is so small that there's no room for any kind of a splice, and it's threaded so that that's what goes on the top of the pipe and clamps all the parts together. And that may be the feature they were trying to patent with their patent applied for. Now the chain's missing from this socket, and the chains don't pull on the other two. So all the interiors are going to be replaced. I'm going to reuse these shells because they are the original type, what they call a fat boy design, because they're a little bit larger at the base here. Doesn't really make any difference to the way the lamp actually works. Rebuilding a lamp is not really that difficult. Anybody can do it, but it's the small details that distinguish a good lamp job from a mediocre one. And the one that's most often overlooked is tinning the wires where they go underneath a screw terminal. Now, most wires that are used in lamps come with these strands so that they're easy to bend and they're flexible. But when you put them under a screw, they will splay out and there's no way to really get the terminal tight. National Electrical Code specifies that these wires have to be tinned. And what that means is putting a little drop of solder on the end so that all these multiple wires become just one. If you go and buy a ready-made lamp cord like this one, the wires already come pre-tinned and you don't have to do anything with it. In this case, since I've got 3 sockets and 3 sets of wires, I'm going to have to tin them myself before I put them on the sockets. It just takes a drop on each end, and that is enough to get the job done. Wire that's sold for use in lamps, whether it's loose wire on a roll or a cord set like this, is always going to have one side is smooth and one side has a ridge. And that's so you can keep track of which wire is which from one end to the other. At the socket, the wire with the ridge on it goes underneath the silver colored screw. The smooth wire is always going to go underneath the copper colored screw. And this is put this way so that the polarity will always be the same going all the way back to the breaker box. And if you happen to have a lamp without a bulb in it and someone reaches up there to touch it, they're not going to get shocked if they touch the shell. Don't know how often that happens, but you know, that's the way they deal with it in the United States. Another important detail is where the cord goes into the lamp body itself. We don't want the lamp cord to get cut by the sharp metal edges, so always use one of these plastic protective bushings. This kind just snaps into the hole. They come in different sizes, and even this one, which is two-piece, it screws together. That's better used with sheet metal lamp bases because the edges of those kind are really sharp and definitely make a dangerous situation with a cord going through it. Now, since I'm not going to have Underwriter's loop up at the sockets like I usually tie, I'm going to put a knot in the cord, and this will be our safety to keep the cord from being pulled out of the sockets in case someone trips over the cord and pulls it off the table. All wire connections in the secret underground laboratory are solder joints. Wires twisted together are just not acceptable. Wire nuts and crimp connectors are not a good practice in lamps. The connection is then covered with heat shrink tubing, which is a strange plastic which contracts tight around the joint. A little heat shrinks the tubing, which is when my mini torch decides to run out of fuel. Now, it's never a good practice to twist the wires when you're putting a lamp together, but some designs, and this is one of them, really don't leave you any choice. I'm putting a little of the blue thread sealer on the end of the pipe here so that once I get it tightened down, it will stay tight. This is Bronze Age for the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, and I thank you for sticking through the end of this video. I would really appreciate it if you'd click the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll be back out with another video pretty soon. Thank you so much.